Blue and White Party. He also served as an advisor to the former Israeli President Shimon Peres, and also as a diplomat in Egypt. So you are very well placed to give us reaction to this tonight on LBC News. Thank you for your time. Firstly,
welcome.
Thank you. Firstly, your reaction to those words from Prime Minister Netanyahu. He kind of stopped short of saying that the deal has actually been formally agreed as yet.
So the issue is like this. There is a ceasefire agreement. It's not a peace. It's a ceasefire agreement de facto with a designated terrorist organization, the Hezbollah. So there is a huge amount of skepticism amidst the Israeli public, amidst mayors of the northern cities that have been evacuated in Israel, given the absolute constant bombardment and barrage of rockets that have been thrown on Israeli civilians since October 8th last year. And there is a huge skepticism that the Hezbollah will indeed hold true to this particular ceasefire. Furthermore, I'd like to say that the Lebanese Army, that according to the agreement is supposed to place itself in the south of Israel gradually in the next 60 days, has already declared and said that if the Hezbollah does show a misdemeanor, it will not take arms and fight with the Hezbollah. So there is a huge skepticism that the Lebanese army, which is supposed to surveil and make sure that the Hezbollah doesn't attack Israel again, will do so. So there needs to be, or rather the Israeli public needs to see that this actually holds true, that it holds water. But the ceasefire probably will be signed and come into practice, and then we'll see how quickly and how resolutely the mechanisms, both in Israel and the international arena, will be able to have the sides stick to the agreement.
As you say, Ruth, I mean, the terms of the agreement for now seem quite shaky. What are the actual goals? Because, as you say, we could actually be seeing the terms of the ceasefire being actually breached quite quickly.
Well, according to the Israeli government at the moment, there is a wish to first of all, focus on bringing our hostages finally back home in the Gaza Strip and concentrating on that front. We are, in fact, warring on very many fronts. And finally, at the end of the day, we know that who is behind this, the Islamic Republic of Iran and the Mullah regime heading it. And there is, at least declaratively, a need to focus on what should be done vis-a-vis that mega threat. After which, perhaps if the Hezbollah will indeed again attack Israeli civilians, which, as I said, Israelis expect them to do so, then the IDF will again take arms against the Hezbollah and make sure that it's not there, neither to war against the Lebanese themselves and embed themselves in civilian population in Lebanon, nor against Israeli civilians.
You mentioned there, Ruth, about Iran. That was mentioned by Prime Minister Netanyahu in that address, that the fear of the nuclear threat. How real do you think that is? How worried should we be?
Very, very worried. The Islamic Republic of Iran holds on to ideologically, at its base, it has very radical Islamist ideology. And in order to understand that, one needs to understand that means a worldwide caliphate based on Sharia law. A worldwide caliphate. It's not only against Israel. It's not only against the Jews. This is just a very small part of the puzzle. And we can see that de facto in the world. One needs just open our eyes. The Iranian regime has taken over Lebanon and Syria and Iraq and Yemen, and there are no Jews there. There's no Palestinian issue there. Why have they done that? Because at the bottom of their ideology, at the root, there is an expansionist, radical Islamist thinking to take over the world and make it Sharia-based. And it has done so by taking a country, breaking it down economically, militarily, and socially, and then moving in and basically undermining the existing regime and taking over. And that is its modus vivendi in all of those countries that I've mentioned. It's also trying to do that in Jordan, and it's doing the same thing in Europe and in the UK and in the United States of America and in Canada. Radical Islamism is an expansionist ideology, and that's not to say all the Muslims, God forbid, but radical Islam, and therefore the arms in the form of the Hezbollah, which is the Shiite arm in Lebanon, or the Hamas, the Sunni radical Islamist arm in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Those arms are fed, they're incited, they are trained, they are funded by the Islamic Republic of Iran, and also on the other side, the Sunni Islamist radicalism led by Qatar and Turkey's Erdogan and so on. But Iran is a huge threat to the stability of the region and the stability of the world, and of course also to Israel.
Ruth Wasserman Lande, former member of the Knesset.